So I picked up a new rooftop tent and I had my awning mounted up there, but it won't allow me to center the rooftop tent on the rack because the awning is too close to the edge. So my rooftop tent would have hung over the side. I really didn't like the way that looked. Pulled my awning off. It's an Openroad 270-degree awning. And now I'm going to reinstall it so that it'll allow me to center my rooftop tent. When I bought this awning, there was no instruction manual, no videos online, how to install it. So today I'm going to kind of go over the hardware that did work, doesn't work, what I had to do with my uptop roof rack. So here's the hardware it comes with. Some of it doesn't come with the wrench, but it comes with these T-headed bolts, and they go into this tracking on the back. They give you enough long ones. There's longer ones and shorter ones. I used just the short ones. And then they give you lock washers or nylon nuts or not. They also give you 3 brackets. These you want to mount with the 4 posts up. That's going to mount here. These are the stainless steel washers, nylon locking nuts, which I would suggest using over just regular nuts. They also gave me these brackets. You could mount these. I'll show you. I wasn't able to do it on mine. So the idea is that you put these underneath here, and then the carriage bolts go up and mount into the bottom of the rooftop. So the idea is, here's the bracket. It would sit on top of the strut. Then your carriage bolts would go through the bottom. The problem is these holes don't line up. So you can't put them on a crossbar and then come up into the bottom of this because they don't line up. I don't know how you're supposed to use these other than that way. And if they don't line up, which they don't, you can't really sandwich it on the crossbar. It's hard to show you on camera, but hopefully you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, so what I ended up having to do is I ended up drilling holes here and here and then mounting the bracket through those holes. So now I need to bring this out a few inches. So I'm going to need to drill new holes, probably one here and one here, so that I can have the tent sit over further. And another thing, because this awning is fairly heavy, I made sure to install all my 3 brackets where the rack was mounted to the vehicle. So see these plates that are mounting it to the vehicle? I didn't want to use one of these ones that go in between the 2 mounting points because I feel like it wouldn't be as solid. So I went with the ones that have a mounting point to the roof on each one of them. These bolts that I'm mounting the bracket to the rack with did not come with the hardware kit. I purchased these bolts. I used stainless steel M8 1.25 by 50. Make sure you use stainless steel. This is going to be exposed. I know they're a little more expensive, but it's worth the money so that you don't end up with rusty bolts. I also wanted to show you the additional hardware that came with my rooftop tent. An assortment of stainless. These are the longer T-bolts I mentioned earlier. These are the carriage bolts for these brackets, which after thinking about it, the only way I could see these mounting is if you were mounting them on the side of a rack. like that, then I suppose you could use these. I don't see how you could use them if you're mounting them to any crossbars of a rack. And with how far back these go, I'm not even sure how you could mount them sideways. It doesn't make any sense to me. So, but I do have to give props to Openroad. When I ordered this tent, the box was a little bit torn, but it showed up. I was happy. 2 days later, another one showed up, and then I was wondering why I got two 270-degree awnings. When I opened the first box, I found out that the box had been torn open, retaped. It looked like there was a missing bracket, there was missing hardware. There were parts in there that looked like a trunk latch or a trunk hinge for a car was in there. There was a bunch of parts that I know didn't go with the awning. So I believe what happened, and I like that they were proactive about this. I think the shipper contacted Openroad, told them the product was damaged and missing parts. They just went ahead and sent me a new one, never even told me, which I thought was pretty great of them. So I'm fond of the company. I've bought their winch, I've bought snap blocks from them, toe strap. I bought a bunch of stuff from them. They're very responsive. I've called them before. You know, you can get in touch with them pretty easily, which is important to me. So I just thought I'd mention that. So if I do have anything that I think needs work, like lack of instructions, setting brackets that I don't really understand how they're supposed to work, which is part of the reason I'm making this video, so people can get different ideas of how they can make this awning mount to their vehicle. So anyway, back to the install. I'm going to be drilling a couple holes in each support. I don't think I need to film that. I'm sure you've all know what a drill is. So anyway, all right, got the holes drilled. So now I'm going to install the brackets. You want to measure them. Make sure that, let me show you. Make sure that the distance between each bracket and the outside, so here to here, is equal for each one. If they aren't, when you go to mount the awning to the side of them, it won't be straight. So keep that in mind. In worst case scenario, these have play in them, so you can leave these bolts a little bit loose if you want. That way you can slide this bracket to adjust it. I'm gonna tighten them down because once I get these brackets on, I have to install my rooftop tent, which won't allow me access to those. Well, not very easy. All right, we got a new perspective here. My microphone broke, so now I'm gonna have to use the speaker on my phone. I apologize for any sound quality. I ordered another one, but obviously the transporter's down, so it's gotta be mailed. So anyway, I'm gonna tighten these bolts up, make sure my distance is correct at 2 inches, and hopefully not knock my phone off and break my microphone again. Well, I guess I can't break the microphone because I don't have one, so just glad I didn't break my phone. When I'm filming, I can't have it in a case. All I need to do is get my tent attached, and then I will come back on and show you how to get the awning mounted to the brackets. And it's not easy. Well, it's going pretty good. Trying to line up 12 bolts all at the same time, it's not easy. Looks like we may have done it. That was way easier than last time. So you're going to want to get all the bolts close to the spot that they're going to be in, and then pick it up, put it up there. Don't let this bee get me. Put it up there, and then do the final adjustments on it. Start one nut at one end so you can raise the other end, and it didn't go too bad. I'll show you what I'm talking about. See those up there? You have to line up all 12 of the bolts at the same time. Now it's just a matter of going up and putting the rest of the nuts and washers on, tightening it up. Almost forgot to tell you one more thing. You want the back here to be at the very back of the vehicle. You don't want it here or too far behind. Otherwise, when you swing it out, it's gonna not line up with the back of your rig, which means you'll have a gap. So keep that in mind. I like to keep the hook and the pulley that you use when you pull it out and you clasp it onto the side of your vehicle. I like keeping it in the back here, so it's handy. That way I'm not searching around for it inside my vehicle. Hope you found this video helpful. If you've got any questions or anything I didn't cover, feel free to leave it in the comments. Thank you.